Hey, everybody, this is Pete Holmes. I'm the star of CBS's How We Roll, and you are listening and watching the Du Bois podcast with my man, Joe.
Your game is off. What's up with you?
It's this lane. It's not level. It's like rolling my ball down a 60-foot waffle.
My lanes are smoother than Denzel eating chocolate mousse, and you know it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Boys Podcast. My guest today is a comedian, actor, voice actor, writer, producer, and podcaster, and many more. You may have heard his voice as Toby in Ugly Americans, Connor in Bob's Burgers, Matthew in Bode Wright in The Simpsons, and you may have seen him as Tom in the new CBS series How We Roll, and many more. So welcome, Mr. Pete Holmes. Welcome, Pete.
Thank you so much, Joe. As I told you before we were recording, I watched you interview Sean S., and I thought you did such a great job, and I'm happy to talk to you today.
Thank you. Really appreciate that, Pete.
You're a good interviewer, man. You got a good thing going on.
Thank you. So, Pete, what have you been up to? How are you doing, Pete?
Well, I think I told your mom, Donna, that we stole away to the beach. I do have some work I'm doing today, but the baby, my 3.5-year-old and her friend are right down on the beach right now playing. My hair is wet because I was just in the ocean, but I ran up to do this and then a couple other work things. But mostly we're going to be at the beach today, which is really nice.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, today I just got you and me talking to another voice actor later on in the day.
Oh, that's so cool. That's great. Look at you stacking them up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, what made you want to become a comedian, actor, and voice actor? Who would you say is your biggest inspiration for those, comedy, acting, voice acting?
What a good question. I don't know. I think, like you, I just really enjoy comedy. And when I was little, not too little, high school, junior high, I would watch Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura and movies like that. And we were lucky enough that we had a camcorder in our family. You know what that is? You're pretty young. It's it only shoots movies. So it's what we used before we had our phone. And I would start making little videos with my friends. Okay. And then as soon as I think I figured out that you could do that for a job, I was like, well, then that's what I'd like to do. So I would say Jim Carrey. I would say, it's on my mind because Bob Saget just passed so sadly, but he did America's Funniest Home Videos. That was one of the reasons I thought I could make funny videos and maybe get on TV because of his show. So Bob Saget. And then later, people say I look like John Ritter, and I used to really love John Ritter as well.
Yeah, you look like him and you sound like him too, actually.
Isn't that weird? Yeah. I know. What's going on?
Also, if you heard, you mentioned Jim Carrey. Do you think he's really retiring? If that's true, do you think he's really retiring, Pete? He's mentioned.
Did he say he is?
He might be. Yeah, he's hinting at that. I've been hearing.
Oh, wow. I don't know. I think everybody that might retire, maybe they just need a good break. You know what I mean? Maybe he needs a couple years, but I have a feeling it's in his bones and he loves to do it. So maybe if he does, he'll come back. That's my guess.
Nice. Now, what would you say is your favorite acting and then favorite voice acting role you've done? What would you say?
That I've done?
Yes.
Well, I'm not just saying it because it's the one that's out right now, but Tom in How We Roll has been my favorite acting job that I've ever had because I think you'll understand it's like hanging out with friends all day. Katie Lowe's and Shai McBride and Taj Mowry and Matt McCarthy and and my son Mason Wells, just like so many people that I loved to hang out with. Mm-hmm. And it really felt like summer camp. It really did, like a group of friends getting together to put on a play. And then I love doing the E-Trade Baby, which is the voiceover that I do. And I'm so happy that he just came back. The baby came back just this past Super Bowl. And that was, it was really nice to get back in the diaper, so to speak. Not really, Joe. I wasn't really wearing a diaper. I promise. I was wearing adult pants.
Are you sure? I'm kidding. I would say you sure.
I am wearing a diaper right now. I'll have you know. All the cool kids wear diapers. It's the best.
Now, Pete, is there a role you would love to do, like a time travel, mystery,
Oh.
superhero?
Yeah, I really like science fiction. Do you like science fiction?
Big time travel, sci-fi guy, yeah. Big
Yeah,
one.
I love science fiction. I loved Dune. I obviously Star Wars, obviously Star Trek. Um, I think it would be really fun to branch out into that because I love to acting is pretending, right? And I
Hmm.
love to pretend what it might be like in the future. I think that's really fun.
Wow. And now,
Yeah.
do you have like a favorite Star Wars character? Sorry to go off topic, but do you have like a favorite Star Wars character?
No, that's good interviewing. I love that. Um, who do I relate most to? I want to think I'm Han Solo, obviously. I mean, don't we all, don't you? I mean, he's the coolest, but I'm probably the bartender in the Mos Eisley Cantina. I'm probably like a tertiary character pouring blue milk for the aliens. But I sure try to be like Han Solo in the ways that haven't aged poorly.
I've actually, believe it or not, Pete, met in real life Hayden Christensen, Anakin.
Wow, of course. Yeah, that's so cool. How did that happen?
It was like at like Comic Con that was like before pre-COVID, like the year before, and he was very
Yeah.
nice, you know.
That's really cool. I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, he's a good actor.
And it's cool. It's coming. He's coming back for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Off you heard about the new Disney Plus show?
Yep. And my friend Kumail is going to be in that show. Kumail Nanjiani is going to be in Obi-Wan. And we started doing stand-up together over 20 years ago. I can't believe it.
Wow,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
time flies, right?
Time flies, and I'm really proud of my friend that he's such a great actor and he's doing such a cool project.
Nice, awesome.
Yeah.
Now, over the years of your career, do you still keep in touch with like other co-stars or directors or people you work with? Would you say, Pete?
That's a great question too. I was just in New York,
Okay.
and sometimes doing press can be a little bit lonely, and not in a bad way, but it's just, I mean, maybe it can be bad. Like you fly there alone,
Okay.
you stay in the hotel alone, and
Mhm.
then sometimes you go to go do a late night show by
Mm.
yourself.
Okay.
But when I landed, I realized that Judd Apatow, who was the director and writer and producer of Crashing with me on HBO,
Mhm.
was like, wait, I think Judd is in New York. So
Mm.
I texted him, and then I was like, oh, and Mike Birbiglia lives in New York, and he's one of my best friends as well. So I texted him, and before I know it, the three of us are eating pizza, and it's like the opposite of being alone. Maybe
Mhm.
you can relate. Sometimes I forget to remember to reach out to my friends, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So I literally have a list, Joe, in my phone of people who are my friend. And I sometimes have to look at it and I go like, reach out to these people. These are your friends. Just because sometimes out of sight, out of mind. And
Mhm.
then when I remembered that they were there, it turned something that might have been lonely into
Hmm.
kind of a little party. It was really cool.
Nice. So cool.
Yeah.
I think didn't you, if I'm not mistaken, did you have Judd? I think on your show, your podcast.
Yeah. Judd's done my podcast 2 or 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that because
Yeah.
I listened to your podcast. So
Oh, I'm so touched, Joe. I'm so glad. Thank you.
yeah. Now, this might be tough. Who would you say is the coolest person that you worked with?
Oh, wow. Coolest person I've worked with. See, this now that you're getting to why I have to keep lists of my friends because sometimes when I'm not doing it, it goes away.
Mm.
Um, I loved working with Bill Burr, who was on Crashing with me. I loved working with, I mean, so many people. I'm really trying to get a good answer for you. I got to do, this is really silly, but I
Okay.
got to do a promo, like a little commercial
Okay.
for water.org, which is actually a charity that I still support and enjoy. I think they're really great.
Okay.
And it was with Matt Damon. And I know, and
Oh, man.
I'm from Boston. I grew up, I was in high school in the 90s, which is when Good Will Hunting came out. And of course, he's Jason Bourne. And of course, I mean, he's everything. He's done so many cool things. And I got there, I didn't know what it was going to be, but I actually got to say a line to him and he said one back to me. And I was like, this is really cool. That one was special for me.
Wow. I think isn't he like a big Boston Red Sox fan too? Matt Damon.
I, I believe so, which I think we talked a little bit about Boston. I went to school in Cambridge. He went to Harvard and Ringe in Latin, which is the high school. But I went to grade school in Cambridge. So we talked a little bit about Cambridge.
Wow. Sorry, that's really
Yeah.
cool. Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool. So, see, I'm like you. I'm a fan too. I love meeting people that I admire and talking with them. That's why I think it's cool that you're doing what you're doing.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
it's really cool that you know Bill Burr, because he's like another one of my like people I like to get, but I don't know how.
Oh yeah, he's great. He's a really fun. He's very, 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 very funny.
Nice. Now, what director would you say taught you the most? And is there a director that you want to work with? That you haven't worked with yet?
I mean, do you know who Paul Thomas Anderson is? He did There Will Be Blood, and most recently Licorice Pizza. I don't know. I just saw a dolphin out the window, Joe. That is so cool. We live in LA, but we don't live by the water. So I'm looking at the ocean here. I'll show you. And I just saw a dolphin go by. It was really cool. At first, I thought it was a shark, and I was like, "Should I go rescue my family?" But no, it was just a dolphin. I love Paul Thomas Anderson more than anybody. I love Noah Baumbach so much. I think I relate to the characters that he makes, and I would love to work with either of those people. Gillian Robespierre, who directed two of my favorite movies, Landline and Obvious Child. She also directed a bunch of episodes of Crashing. She's incredible. I really feel like if she rang me up and was like, "I want to do a movie with you in New York," we would happily pack up and go tomorrow. But that's my list for sure. But working with Judd, it's sort of an obvious answer. But like the first time when we were shooting Crashing, and I heard him say "action," action. It just made me so happy because I've been such a fan of his for so long.
Wow. Would you want to work with a director? Because that's what I want to do as a career, is be like a director writer. Would you want to work with director Joe Zito?
Of course. Are you kidding me? Get real. What a dream come true. Give me an action. Yell action.
Action.
What are you talking about? I didn't take those files. Was it good? Did I do it good? Okay, good. We got it. Moving on. Well, who's your favorite director, Joe?
I believe it or not, there's another director named Joseph Zito, and he directed like Friday the 13th Part 4. I'm a big like horror, I guess, nerd.
Yeah,
too.
sure. Yeah. That's great. Well, Jordan Peele is, we're not like close friends. I don't want to sound like we hang out all the time, but we are in the same circles, and watching him explode in the horror scene has been really cool. And also the social commentary scene. But I'm really excited for Nope, his next movie.
Nice, because I really liked Us too. Like you mentioned, Jordan Peele. Us was a good movie.
Us was great. I thought it was really scary and really good. And Get Out was obviously great. Yeah.
If you need to go into comedy, acting, and voice acting, what do you think you would have done as a career instead? And what other interests and hobbies do you have?
Well, that's a good question too, Joe. I went to college to be a pastor. I thought I was going to be like a youth pastor because this is my face, right? This is what I look like, a youth pastor. And I like getting up in front of people and speaking, and I like making them happy. And before I really knew that I could just kind of go the more direct route and just make everybody laugh without alienating somebody that might have different beliefs, I went to comedy, but I was very close. I wouldn't say very close. I was just pointed in that direction. And I still enjoy spiritual things, talking about the meaning of life, what happens when we die, where did we come from, where are we going, all of that stuff. But I never did become a pastor, obviously.
Wow. No, do you have any hobbies, would you say, like writing, drawing, hiking?
I like to draw. I like to hike. Those were very good guesses. Are you a psychic? Are you psychic, Joe? I knew it. I do like hiking. I love the ocean. Of course, I'm looking at the ocean. I love swimming. I used to play video games before I became a dad, and now there's just not enough time. But before that, I was playing my Switch. I had Zelda, I really like Streets of Rage for the Switch. It's a good retro game. And the Splinter Cell games. I used to love playing the Splinter Cell games.
I know those games. Splinter Cell.
They're fun, right? Sneaking
Yeah.
around. See, look at you. You're a professional, baby.
Now, Pete, favorite band artist, like band or artist and type of music, and favorite food. That's all, like all one question. Sorry.
Great. No, I would say my favorite band is The National.
Okay.
But I also love a lot of the bands that I grew up listening to, like Green Day
Okay.
and Rancid, like punk rock. That's kind of a surprise. And I love a group called Caspian. They do instrumental, sort of like post rock. There's no singing, but it's
Oh,
really good if you want to write. As a writer yourself, maybe you'll enjoy putting them on. Caspian,
Casper.
they're good to write to. And East Forest is another one. He's great to write to, and also just listen to on his own. He's wonderful. And I would say my favorite food of all the foods. Wow. You can't beat pizza, Joe. You
True.
can't beat pizza. I don't eat it often because I don't eat dairy very much.
Mhm.
But every once in a while, like when I was in New York, I'll cheat and I'll eat pizza, and it is the best.
Yeah. Nice. Do you have any, like, do you have a favorite sport, would you say, in teams? Do you like sports?
I love sports movies.
Movies.
Um, I'm watching Winning Time right now, which is about the Lakers in the 70s. I really like that. When you interviewed Sean Astin, it reminded me how much I love Rudy, obviously. I love The Natural. I love Moneyball. Moneyball is a great sports movie. So that's how I enjoy sports. I don't watch them when they're on,
Mhm.
but I love um, the Michael Jordan series, which was
Last Dance.
called The Last Dance. I watched it twice. I loved it so
Wow.
much, the whole thing. So it's not that I don't like sports. I love sports, but I love them more as a narrative, something that you edit together, the best
Mhm.
moments, you know.
Nice. I like that. Now that things are getting back to normal, do you have any projects that are in the works? Anything coming up?
Well, I'm glad you asked because I want to promote to your fans that I have How We Roll. It's on
Mhm.
Thursdays at 9:30 on CBS. And yeah, and I'm going to be in Austin, Texas on April 23rd for the Moon Tower Comedy Fest. So that's my first flying and doing stand up since COVID. So it's been almost 3 years.
Wow. Sorry. I don't know if
Yeah.
you also
Yeah.
noticed the bowling trophies in the back. These are my dad's.
Oh, wow. Look at that. I bet he's better than me. I'm just pretending. That's really cool.
Awesome. Now, Pete, what's your advice for younger kids that want to become an actor, actress, comedian? What's your advice?
Well, I think the best advice anyone gave me was make your own stuff, you know?
Okay.
So I think a lot of people get frustrated with Hollywood. They're like, oh, it's all who you know, and it seems like a clique, and I can't get in, and nobody wants me. And I look at people like Wes Anderson, um, M. Night Shyamalan comes to mind. These were people just like you
Mhm.
who started shooting things. M. Night Shyamalan was shooting horror movies with his friends.
Wow.
Um, Wes Anderson shot Bottle Rocket. P.T. Anderson shot Sydney, which became Hard Eight, on his own and
Mhm.
very low budget. So the best advice I have for people that want to get into any field
Mhm.
is to try your best to do it on your own because people
Oh,
admire and respect that initiative that you take to make mistakes, make things that aren't perfect, but it
yeah.
shows your passion. And I think people
Mhm.
respect that.
I like that. I like to, like, add, like, stay humble. Remember where you came from. Mhm.
And also stay humble is a great one. Yeah, don't believe your own hype. just be a person, right? Just be a
Yeah.
person. We're all just people. We're all doing our best.
Nice. Well, Pete, before I ask you my last question, do you have any questions? Any closing questions? Do you have any?
I want to know, and don't say me, other than me, who is your favorite comedian? Other than me.
Other than you, I like Ben Schwartz. Or
Ah, great answer. Ben Schwartz is one of the best. You have really good taste.
thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
he's
it.
wonderful. Yes.
Now, Pete, is there anything you would like to promote and shout out? Like, I'll link down below. I'll promote for you.
How We Roll on CBS
Okay.
9:30 on Thursdays, and check out my podcast. It's called You Made It Weird, and a lot of people that we've talked about on this podcast have done it, which is really fun. I'm glad you're doing it. Isn't it fun to do a podcast?
Yes.
It's a great way to meet people, talk to new people,
Mhm.
and share something with people, which is what you're doing, which is so cool.
Thank you. I'll also link down your social, like your social media, like your Instagram, Twitter.
Great. Yeah, that'd be great. It's all just Pete Holmes.
I got you. Okay, well, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, and Pete, for being an awesome and amazing guest. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Perfect. Have a great day, everybody, and stay awesome. And you stay awesome, Pete.
You stay awesome, Joe. Thank you.